get this started. We are streaming. Yep, me only. Going to check right here, YouTube. Dun, dun, dun. Studio. Does it show that I'm streaming? Not yet. All right, we'll see how far we get. Is this the one? Go live. Oh, it shows that I'm already live. Yep. All right, let's do this. So shall I drop it real quickly? All right, so we want to build out a is there an update feature here? Yep. All right. Let me switch to. All right, what is it showing me? It's showing me a stale program, so I need to make sure I get the right one here. All right, chat rate. What's chat rate? Are people actually watching? I don't think so. All right, so let's see if we can change the channel here, application. We've got code running. Should I get a window? Otherwise, window, we get one from code here. Yeah, this is the one. All right, let's get started. All right, so we're on the current version of Claude. Let's go ahead and get started. Cool beans here. So we are starting with a empty project. I think I might need to open up YouTube here. I don't know if I need it to be able to chat with people. That would be nice. Bear with me here. It's the first time. Yeah. And then open studio. And how can I go to, I am streaming, so how can I go into my studio? Yep, no streaming software. It should be showing that am I in this one? No, not yet, hold on. Connect your encoder, that's what I did. Dual stream, no, I don't need that. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, so I've got the chat window now. Bitrate's a bit slow. All right, let's get started. If I switch here, let's cool beans. All right, so I will use Whisperflow to start talking. All right. Hey, Claude. So for this project, I want to build a consent management platform, and I want to start small and simple and kind of iterate our way through to a fully manageable solution that will give us as a standalone project. So I don't need any kind of account management people. This should be kind of an open source project in the end that people can deploy onto their own systems. But having said that, I want a solution that will help me build out a consent management platform, like I said, with a cookie banner running on JavaScript. The JavaScript needs to be kind of injectable. We need to have like so let's say they're hosting it on one platform, that should generate a JavaScript that they can use with something like Google Tag Manager to inject into their website. And once that is done, we'll be able to manage the actual look and feel of the consent management, for the cookie consent banner within the admin area. We need to determine how we're going to lock that up. Maybe use we'll put a database behind it, probably something like Supabase, or if we can run something locally. That would be good too. But in the end, I want a fully customizable, configurable cookie banner that allows for the basic setting of cookies for functional, strictly necessary marketing, analytics, and personalization. It needs to adhere to Google consent mode. It needs to be able to work with Google Tag Manager, so actually fire off those data layer pushes of the payloads in there. And yeah, when people need to be able to change their preferences, those preferences need to be recorded again. So there's a lot to do. From here, let's start brainstorming about a possible direction we can go down. Yeah, right, it worked. Sometimes I forget to put the cursor in Claude Code to actually, so Whisperflow is a voice to text. And using it this way, what it'll actually do is just kind of help me. I do a lot of typing, by the way, so it's this is just an alternative method to help me get my thoughts onto paper. I thought typing the whole time is going to be a little bit crazy, especially in a live stream. All right, so did it pick everything up? No, it's calling it super base. It should know better. All right, so it gave me some things to look at here. So the core components, we have the injectable banner. Yep, lightweight standalone JS with a script tag. We have an admin dashboard for a single page app with a site. Exactly, no user accounts needed initially, protected by simple password or local only access. Serves banner configuration as JSON. That's good. Tech stack options, it's using Banner.js. Haven't heard of that one before, but that sounds pretty cool. React or Svelte. I haven't tried Svelte yet. I like a few though, so I might try to push for Vue. It always gives me a lot of Next.js and React here. So it's telling me SQLite, which is fine. Supabase. Oh, I did put Supabase in there right now. It is more scalable. I'm just thinking, should we just start off with the SQLite and then move to the future? I definitely don't want Vercel because Vercel and scaling just kind of bankrupts you. All right, so my recommendation, start with option A. Yeah, no, sounds good. I'll leave Vue out of there. Vue.js. Consent categories granted, denied, denied, denied. So it's taking in the Google consent mode in there. We'll got a 3-phase approach. We'll do with the MVP, Banner.js hard-coded. Yep, that's fine. All right, let me reply here. This sounds good. Just make sure that when we start working with this or kind of demo testing it, to build a single page website, so on which we can actually view the end product. So we need the kind of a test page separate from the admin section where I'm not going to push it onto an actual website right now. So you just need to build that one pager with some dummy content on there, maybe with some, what's the word? Diagnostic data on that page about the status of the cookie, etc. That would be cool. All right, push that in there. See what we get. I tried this yesterday, and we got pretty far. Oh, see, now it's saying share Claude Code and earn 10 euros of extra usage. I don't use the API though. Anyway, but I was trying this yesterday, and we got pretty far within in about 20 minutes. So it's quite cool to see what we can actually do. And I'm really curious. Oh, hold on. It did give me some questions at the end. See, key questions. Dun, 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 dun. Hold on. Command contains brace expansions that could alter command parsing. It wants to create or make directories. I forgot to answer the admin UI framework. No, that's included in option A. I'm going to keep it real easy right here. I guess you know, if you do start off these kind of projects, you really want to have a proper understanding of your current architecture and decide on the toolings that best fit your current architecture. Again, I am not a developer. I have done quite some work with Vue and React, even with Swift, but that was usually limited to doing implementations or understanding the implementation of various marketing technology solutions, so that I can understand what takes place within the app behind the scenes, in the source code, and actually getting that data out of it. So bear with me. I think the whole vibe coding thing is real. We're seeing a lot of comments from people like Scott Brinker, Franz Ringersmann. There's a lot of talk on LinkedIn about the how should I say, the end of SaaS. You know, play the violin here. Will SaaS end? I am not sure. I think a lot of SaaS pricing will definitely be put under pressure as companies venture out into building out solutions for them. But to be honest, I think the key benefit for a lot of companies and the key consideration that will push companies into using vibe coding is the fact that you can create tailor-made experiences. For instance, if you look at these form tools, Typeform, Jotform, there are a few out there. Those are the two that just came to mind. Anyway, if you look at those solutions, they're pretty cut and dry. You can embed the form on your website. You can create routing. You can put a lot of logic into those forms. But for one customer, they said, "Hey, but listen, we need a few extra checks within that form. We need to check the email addresses. We need to check the postal codes, make sure that we can get an accurate location of these people." Because travel time was a distance. And then once they had the postcode, which was verified, they could actually put it into a solution like Travel Time, or was it called? Yeah, traveltime.com, which offered an API where you can actually calculate the travel time using various modes of transportation of these users to points of interest. And yeah, I mean, try and find a solution in the market out there that will actually do that. There aren't many. I don't think there were any actually, and so we started building out our own solution. It's not as easy as a lot of people tend to say. These one-shot prompts. I'm calling BS on that one, because one-shot prompts is great if you're doing like a little MVP and you want a one-pager with a form that shows confetti when you submit the form, which is all a little bit of no, that's the bad side of vibe coding, is that a lot of these people who promote it, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they just promote it in a way that takes away the responsibility that is needed to properly do vibe coding. All right. Anyway, enough of my chatter here. So we've got on localhost. Let's see what we got. I need to open this up in the right window. Sorry, you guys. All right. So let's go to the browser view. And then I was on the Anthropic page, but let's go ahead here and see what we have. All right, welcome to Acme Core. And if I just do this, we can see the little cookie banner here at the bottom. Funny thing is, when I was testing this yesterday, it actually built the same one. I deleted all that information, which is fine. But anyway, so if we look at the little diagnostics, it put it in here. We've got the data layer event log. The cookie consent is not set. The consent management platform was loaded. All right, so let's see what happens here. Let me just quickly. This doesn't set anything. As you can see, the UI is absolutely atrocious, I should say. All right, and there's no close button here, but it does close when I click on the outside. Let's go ahead and do a save all and see what happens. So let's do a accept all. And as you can see, the diagnostics updated. I'm going to open. I'm really curious if this will work actually. in, hold on, I'm not sure if this is going to work with OBS, and OBS seems to be lagging behind terribly. So, all right, what I will do is maybe if I switch to OBS here. No, you guys are still seeing the old page. Why is that? Is it because it's not detecting the browser? Let me check here. Hold on. No, it's got CMP test page. So it's picking up something here. All right, let's go ahead and click OK. For some reason, it's not updating the visual on the page. Let's go ahead and, no, that's weird. It's got this little like placeholder here. Kind of shows windows with empty names. No, it really restart capture. Oh, that's what we go. All right, that's the one. And it is showing the console log, which is great. All right, so what I want to do is let's check in the console if it actually did push in the consent here. So it did load, so, and push the data into the data layer. That's wild because it put in an update one, but I don't want it to update. Oh, this is when I gave consent, and once it updated the Google consent mode, because I'm not seeing the timing on this, so after that it sent this event, which you can actually capture into Google Tag Manager if you want, but usually you can pick up on the update one. All right, so that works. And as I had asked, it is actually, yeah, look at that. I mean, so I can come in here. Let's say I want to disable everything except personalization, because I love personalization. I do save preferences, and let's see what happened. Yeah, there is a new, here we go, number 3. It did an update, but let's check here. So it put everything on false except necessarily and personalization. So that's pretty good. I mean, what are we on? We are on like 12 minutes, 13 minutes, and we already have a MVP version of a consent management platform. Pretty good. Well, MVP is kind of pushing it. All right, so let's go back to our little friend here and see. All right. Good initial draft. The UI for the preference modal could use a little work. It really looks shabby and unprofessional, especially with the borders around each section. So let's upgrade that, and then let's start planning out the admin section for configuration. And with configuration, I also want you to take into consideration the opportunity for users to actually upload a logo, and 160 by 40 pixels should be enough. Also create and it should be able to drag a image into into a section for processing. So you can click on a plus, or you can drag the image in there. I also want you to create a few prepared themes so that we can change the theme of the cookie banner. And then, yeah, we'll take it from there. There are a few more options that I want to consider, but let's start looking at the admin section right now, and make sure that we can configure things like the title, the introduction text, and try to make it as configurable as possible. See what you can do. All right, let's do this. So the speed at which it works at it differs quite a lot. What I've noticed with past projects, and the mistake that I've made in the past, for instance, is that I would start vibe coding. But if you are unaware of the efficiencies that you can inject into your prompts, or at least into your projects, it's going to become very difficult for something like Claude Code to do its job well. one of the key tricks that I've actually been seeing that works is doing a lot of refactoring. And with refactoring in code, and especially with solutions or frameworks like React and Vue, what it will actually do is try to extract elements within large code bases. So let's say you have a footer element or a header element, or you have a form element. It'll actually extract those into separate files. And what it does then is you kind of reduce your original kind of page, your app, into this kind of skeleton, which allows you to plug in all these various elements to make your app work. There needs to be logic in between, of course. Claude Code has shown me that it can do that quite well. Once in a while, I'll want a little parameter changed, and then it'll tell me, hey, let me look through the rest of the code base to make sure that the parameter isn't anywhere else within the code base. I need to do this more often. Anyway, so it'll actually go through that. But the more you kind of refactor your code into smaller instances, let's say you want to make change to a form, it doesn't need to scroll through 2, 3, 4,000 lines of code to find the form. No, you can actually add that context by, with an @ sign, you can mention a specific file name or a specific function, and then it knows quite intuitively where to look and make those changes, which really reduces the time it needs to do its work, but also it reduces the amount of tokens running in the background. I mean, even if we look at this one right now, it says 7,000 tokens. It's out for 22 seconds, and this is for the admin section, which is not bad, but that's, the 7K tokens is definitely going to jump up, and that is not a problem. And what I forgot, is it hooked up to Console Ninja? No, it's not. So Console Ninja is a tool that I like to use. I think I need to Ninja open MCP. I'll do that in a second here. So what Console Ninja does is it allows you to test your app in a browser, but it will connect the browser to VS Code in this instance. And what that will do is that anytime there's a message in the console, which is usually where you put your error codes. I've been looking at that camera the whole time, but it's that camera. Anyway, so you put your error codes will appear within the console. And with Console Ninja, you can actually tell Claude Code, say, hey, can you have a look and see if there are any errors showing up within Console Ninja that you can start working on trying to debug and fix. And I have to say, it's been pretty useful. And well, I'm still surprised that it's taking such a long time. Cool stuff. So Console Ninja is definitely, I'll hook that up here in a second. Let me see, because I usually try to wait. You know what? Let me open up another instance of Claude here in the meantime. And I'll just rename this main and give it a different color, green. All right, so within code, MCP. Yeah, there, that one's connected. PostHog's connected. Should it be connected on this one? Or did I connect it yesterday? No. All right. Let me see if I can connect MCP. Set up Console Ninja MCP. You can see at the top there where it says tips for getting started. run init to create a Claude MD file. We'll do that. I'm going to do that in a second, just to kind of now that we've decided on a framework and we've decided on an MVP, just a few root features. And what I'll do is I'll put it into the Claude MD file. Well, Claude will do that. Oh my goodness, it has always such a difficult time in finding console Ninja. I need to search this. Console Ninja MCP line. It was on their GitHub, I believe. MCP server, here we go. Where's the line to get this done? Oh, here we go, Claude code. All right, here we go. Let me just copy and paste this. There we go. This should be the one. Oh, did it actually find it? Oh, nuts. All right, it beat me to it. All right, so on the left-hand side, it wants to start a dev server on port 3001. So this is, I mean, everything's still localhost. I'm not pushing anything to. All right. Let me see if it's been configured, but I don't think it's been authenticated. No, it will only happen after I restart it. Let me exit in this one. Exit. All right, and then restart Claude in this one. It should prompt me to, here we go. Use this in all future MCP servers in this project. Yep, that's perfect. And let me check. Did it need any console Ninja is connected? Cool. All right, so let's minimize this one, return here, see what we're doing. It's still working on creating up a dev server. I'm really curious to see how well this one's going to work. Still working. All right, and the right one, let's go ahead and initiate our Claude MD file. 2 seconds here. All right, let me do this with, help me generate a Claude MD file based on the basic information you already have of the project in memory. Make sure to store the architecture and framework information in there and the goal that we're working towards, and that it will be an iterative process. Do point out any security issues that might arise during any kind of commit once we start working with GitHub, and also make sure that you suggest any refactoring needed once the code base starts growing. All right, we'll let that get to work. And as you can see here, it's telling me that the admin page has been set up. Did it put in a basic password? No, not yet. All right, doesn't really matter. We're still kind of testing here. That's 3,000. And let's make sure we did. What was it on? 3001 admin. All right, look. Oh, that's nice. Look at this. Oh, it created a little version of it right here with a live preview. That's pretty cool. I didn't even ask for that. That's impressive. All right, so we have the basics here. Let me find a logo here that I can use. So I'll use a light background. So I'll just drag this one in here. Look at that. We value privacy. I put the logo in here, which is great. It also puts it in the preference banner. Oh, oh man, it went really beyond what it did yesterday. So I did the same test yesterday, and I asked it to create a some color schemes. Oh wow, does it reflect on the side here? Oh, it does. Look at that. That looks pretty cool. The corporate one. This one, yeah, I like the, and it even allows you to change the primary colors. Got different font families. I think mine is close to Roboto, I believe. You've got the panel border radius. That's just, I believe that is for the buffer, I believe. God, real coders are going to hate me. All right, here I can do consent categories. Actually, rename them here as well with the text. Set the Google consent mode parameters that's set with each of these, which is impressive. And it actually gave me an embed code. All right, so this isn't prepared yet, but it's definitely something that um, this is what we're looking for. Cool. All right, so I'll definitely be testing this in the future, and because at a certain point I will be hosting this. I'll see if I can find a dummy domain somewhere to test this on. And what I will try to do is kind of put this in a subdomain, have a main website. The top, the top domain will be the same, just different folders. All right, so let me go ahead and save these changes. And if I come back here, see, this is funny because I might need to do a hard refresh here because no, it definitely doesn't work well. All right, so what I usually do in these cases is that I take a screenshot like this, and then I go back to VS Code, and bear with me here because I'm using buttons here to control the scenes, and then I tell Claude Code what we experienced. Initial impression is good around the admin section. However, when I go back to the dummy website on the indexed HTML, or at least the root page, and I click on the cookie icon in the bottom left. Also, this needs to be a preference to change the type of floating icon. Bottom left, we need to be able to change position, color, and icon. And make some preparation for that within the admin section. But have a look at the image here, because as you can see, the styling is completely off and it does not match the styling that you are showing in the live preview in the admin section. Please investigate and fix. And then we hit enter. That is how it is done. This is how it usually works. I do a lot of testing. And then I either use Console Ninja or I use a screenshot app to take a screenshot of what I'm experiencing. What I would love to see sometime soon is kind of put in, I should try putting in an animated GIF and see if it's able to process that. I don't think so, because usually when systems process GIFs, they only see the first image. But that's fine. That's something for the future. You also have Playwright option. Playwright is a headless Chrome browser package that you can use. You can tell Claude Code to actually use this to perform specific tests. So what you could potentially do is set a Playwright right now. It's overkill right now, but let's say you have a process, like I said, with the one of the client projects that I'm working on right now. It's a 17-step screening process, and I use Playwright to test the logic going through to make sure that there aren't any dead ends within the routing logic of that form. So Playwright definitely has its benefits, but not at this moment. Screenshots will definitely suffice. All right. On the right hand side here, so while it is thinking its life decisions for CSS on the left, let's check out the Claude MD file. As you can see here, it has a, let me make this one smaller. As you can see, it has created a very nice Claude MD file following my recommendations to note down the architecture. The key design decisions, zero dependencies. Yeah, all right, Vanilla.js everywhere. We could potentially move away from that in the future. There are, we could use Tailwind, I believe, CSS, to make it a little bit more prettier. No secrets in tracked files, never commit. There we go. So it's before every commit, check for. Cross-site scripting, cookie flags, path traversal, git ignore, recommendations. Yeah, you don't want node modules in your Git repo. As the code base grows, consider these refactors. Excellent. All right, so we'll commit to that one. I'll just say, and you can see the Claude MD file pop up here on the left-hand side, and which is extremely useful. Let's do that. Let me kind of minimize the one on here. You know what? I'm gonna give this one a different activity. In the meantime, can you investigate some packaged CSS solutions like Tailwind? Don't limit your search to just Tailwind, but to find ways that we can use to make the cookie banner a little bit more attractive. That might add a few configuration options within the admin to let the user tailor their cookie banner to their wishes. Cool. Now there's some really good consent management platforms out there. One of my favorite ones is Acceptio. I was able to speak at a small conference with them about 2 weeks ago. And I like what they're doing. They're really, as somebody pointed out, I think it was 2017 or so when GDPR came into effect, and a lot of companies needed to switch to well, at least integrate their cookie consent management platforms into their tagging solutions, and that was great. But the CEO of Acceptio, anyway, they pointed out and they said, listen, not a lot has changed since 2017 in terms of design and functionality. And what I like what they are doing, and there's still some room for improvement right there, which I hope they will pick up on. But what they are doing is really kind of taking the perspective of looking at the cookie banner as a first point of contact with customers. It doesn't need to be stale. It doesn't need to be dry and very legalese. You can actually start motivating, inspiring the people coming to your website, and I really like that. And one of the new features that they're doing that with is with video in the cookie banner. Now, I'm not going to say we're going to get that far, but we'll look into it. All right, so on the left-hand side, the right-hand agent is doing a little bit of research still. What did it share with me? Goodness. It does have a tendency to scroll. The config file is a huge base64 logo. All right, that's working correctly. Yeah, so the base64 logo is the logo that I just uploaded. I transformed it into base64. That's interesting. I guess it didn't store it anywhere, no. Which is fine. So whenever you need to save an image or anything like that, it stores it in a base64. It translates it into a string. All right, so this is taking a little bit more time. I'm going to cut off here, and in part 2, we'll see how far we got with the admin section and the potential CSS solutions to give it a little bit more or better or interesting look and feel. That's great. And then what we can do from that point on is see if we can get it integrated into a website using a JavaScript tag. That means I'll need to set up a dummy website on a fake URL with a fake subdomain where we're going to be hosting the JavaScript file into. But we want to be able to make sure that we can still make changes and configure that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.